All right, we're out here training on the moon, on in a wanga. No water, no tractor, just shit conditions. And what I see, so I'm coaching 2 vet riders today. I also see it in amateur riders and people that don't have the experience of riding. Is what's happening to the body is that they have a tendency of closing the body down, meaning they want to kind of close the body down when anything comes up that they're not expecting, anything that they're not comfortable with, or that maybe has a consequence to it. They want to close it down. And when you close the body down like this, well, then you're limiting its mobility. You're limiting the efficiency of it. You're limiting the motion in all the joints. That'd be like saying, I'm going to close down my suspension on rebound and make it as slow as possible. Well, now that suspension is not going to be able to follow the track as much, so things just going to be skating around the track, or it's going to get a lot of side to side motion swapping because it's sucked into the suspension. It's not free and moving following the track. And so let's say this next amateur race that we're coming to is Mammoth. One of the things that I do is I speed up my front forks because of how fast the track is, how small the bumps are. The bike needs to follow that. Now, if I close the suspension down by making it a very slow action, well, now that track would pretty much ride me because the bike would be all over the place. It wouldn't be able to flow on it. So when you're on the motorcycle and I'm maybe flat-footed and my butt's coming in, my back coming in rounded and my elbows are coming down, well, now nothing on my body joint-wise can move except really my knees. Now, if you look at a Sexton, a Jet Lawrence, a Christian Craig, even the top guys from a Tomac to Anderson to, Roxon, you see them more stretched out on the motorcycle, more stretched out. So they're opening themselves up, because if I open myself up on the motorcycle, now there's weight going to the rear end, there's weight going to the front end, so I'm balanced. If I open myself up, well, now my hips can move. You have mobility in your spine. That's why there's a vertebrae that goes all the way down your spine, many of them, and there's a slight, subtle movement in that. And when I open myself up and rotate my hips out, my weight's in my legs, so now that allows my shoulders and my arms, my elbows to be able to move. So that's the biggest thing. If everything on this motorcycle has to move to its true potential, to ride the motorcycle's true potential, well, then every joint on the body has to be able to move to its true potential, or you're never going to use the body how it's been designed to be used. And when I stretch myself out here on the motorcycle, more stretched out, as you see those top riders here, well, now if my back is straight, my core comes into play. My core is my chassis. So if this isn't activated, or if this is closed down from tucking, hunching, and rounding, well, then everything's going to be going into my back, everything's going to be going into my arms. And this is what people are saying that Sexton and Jet Lawrence have this new technique. They don't have this new technique. It's the same thing as everybody else is doing, except they're on their toes, their hips are out, their back is straight. But what they're doing, they're initiating everything more at the hips. Every time they gas it, the hips are coming out. Every time they land, the hips are coming out. Every time they take off from a jump, the hips are coming out. Every time they come out of a corner, the hips are coming out. And when you do that with the hips, as you see, I almost stretch my body out more. If I tuck my butt in, well, I'm locking my body up. And that's the same thing with the suspension. The bike has to have fluid motion, and the levers, the headset, the suspension, all the controls. So the body that's riding the motorcycle, the mechanism on top of it, has to have that same idea, is to be stretched out and to allow every joint on the body to move. So next time you guys go riding, pay attention to not locking up when something comes up that you're not expecting or you're not comfortable with. Open up to it, and you'll see that situation wasn't as big as you thought it was going to be, or you don't struggle as much as you did because you're putting the body in a stronger, more stable, more coordinated, more efficient position. So check that out, and when you watch the race this weekend, watch those guys and see what I'm talking about, is that their legs are a little bit more straight because their hips are more out. If I'm locked up, then my knees come in. If I'm locked up and round, then everything comes in my arms. We want to keep everything into our legs, rotate our hips out, so we lengthen over this motorcycle, so there's balance on it and there's mobility through the body. Because if the bike's doing something, the body needs to follow. The bike can't be working one way and the body working opposite. It's incorrect. So look at that this weekend, try that in practice. And again, if you're gonna try something new, slow down to feel it, because once you feel it, you can identify it. Once you identify it, then you can recreate it. You can't recreate shit until you identified that that's a good feeling, and you can't usually identify anything until you feel it, and usually you can't feel anything until you slow down. So just a little tip for you guys.